go. Here we 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 go.
Welcome back to Salute, as we salute the men and women who wore and are still wearing the U.S. military uniform. What we got going on today?
Well, first, before we get into that, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, head over to Fanbase and show us some love.
Hit that heart.
All right,
As
so
she says that with her afro puff.
Yes.
I'm loving it, by the way.
Thank you.
By the way, we're a moist feet sandal wearing family right now. Go ahead.
All right, so we're starting off with unpopular military opinions. So I'm going to show you the video, and then we're going to discuss what he's saying.
Roll it.
So on this episode of Unpopular Military Opinions, it features a misconception that we finally need to have a conversation about. But bro, that stern leader in your shop is not toxic. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But we love to label a motherfucker toxic because we don't agree with their personality. That stern leader sees a potential in you that you don't even see yet. And it's very frustrating trying to get you in position because you keep fighting them on every end. A motherfucker that you need to be worried about is that friendly motherfucker. Because why he's so friendly? In my experience, those are usually the people that as soon as you let your guard down will stab you in the back with a velvet dagger. But that's just my opinion, though.
That's just his opinion.
Yeah.
The last thing I've ever in my entire life looked at was to stab someone in the back. Mm-hmm. But I'm a friendly motherfucker.
Oh, that's just you. Not all. I think, so I've had experience with like both, right? Because when you say toxic, like everybody labels everybody as toxic in the military.
Right. You know, I hate that.
But it's an easy word that everybody uses, right? It gets thrown
and that's
out
why I hate it.
Yeah, it gets thrown sometimes, and it's like there's other words we can use to describe people. But in this case, it was a different take than usually, right? Because most people get out, a huge chunk of people, at least our generation gets out, because they hate leadership. And there's we don't see any necessary change, right? You have leadership that's nice and kind, but as soon as something happened, they'll throw you under the bus real quick. When he says stern and expects you to work hard, I'll give him that because that's true. You expect them, but you got to be stern but fair. You can't think that people think, oh, you want the best from me, but you're being a ball buster 24/7. You're making someone's life completely miserable. That's not good leadership in a way where you're like, I'm doing this because I expect you to excel.
You know,
especially to a 17, 18-year-old kid.
He has a problem. I agree with you, about that behavior.
Yeah.
That comes from higher ups, which got that from their higher ups, which got that from their higher ups. It's something that has been passed down through the military in particular. Yeah. It happens in civilian life as well. But in the military, it's all about how tough you are.
Right.
So that being the crown jewel, how tough you are, that's what's being pushed out. I'm not making an excuse for it. I'm just understanding the behavior.
Right, yeah, I can agree with that.
And just because I understand it don't mean that it should not change.
Yep.
The fact that I understand it now should be, how do we address the issue?
Yeah.
How do we change that? Because in a quick thinking pattern that I'm on right now, understanding that comes from higher up, therefore, the change should come from higher up to make the military be more understanding.
Right.
And if we have a gun-ho, like you said, a lot of times it's ineffective. People don't want to respond consistently to someone who is doing things. And the reason why I can point to where it comes from higher up, you find someone who is nice, and I've seen it. They're nice when they're around you, but then when someone over them comes around, they pop or stuff, and then they'll come back and say, look, I had to do that because...
Right.
So obviously, it's because higher up. So higher ups have to come in, and that starts all the way with the Secretary of Defense, which is not going to happen. But
not
in this current market,
right,
it's not going to happen. But that comes, this is when they say morale is, even in law enforcement, local law enforcement, when they say morale is low, that's because higher up is coming down on a heavy from the mayor's office,
Yep.
opposed to showing this is how we're going to do this. Because, and keep in mind, because it's been that way for so long, you got to find some people within ranks who say, well, that ain't the way it should be done. Because they're comfortable yelling at those who are under. And those are the ones then you start saying, well, we need to replace you because you don't understand. There's a turn in the road.
Yeah.
And we're going around that bend.
Right.
And that's where leadership has to come in and say, I expect this, 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 and this, but this is how we're going to do it.
Right, right.
Leadership, a lot of times, do not give direction on how to accomplish the mission.
That's true.
They're like, well,
Just get it done.
get it done.
Yeah.
Get it
And you
done.
have all these like, so morale is always low in the military. I mean, for many different reasons, but leadership, in my opinion, is a big one. You know what I mean? Like, you have, like you said, it's coming down from the DoD, Secretary of Defense, and also generations of the same tactic. And it's everybody, like shops or individual battalions, doing it how they think it's done best. But I was in a shop with all males, and it was my best time. They were strict but fair, right? If I did my job the way I was supposed to, show it up on time, they had no problem with me, and I had no issue with them. If something happened, you pull your aside, you get your little stern talking to, and if it keeps happening, then you go with whatever the next route is. But I've had that experience, and I've had it where it's like favoritism, or we're nice to you, and as soon as something happened, we're just throwing you under the bus. And that doesn't work. That shop's morale was extremely low. Everybody hated their lives there.
That's because the
And
person was not a good leader.
we had none of them. All the leadership in there wasn't necessarily good. They were all trying to figure out their way of leading, and it was not like.
And they're all clashing because they all want to be tougher than the next.
Exactly. Or
Right.
and then they also want to be liked.
Right.
Right. You can't chase everything.
Right.
You want to be an effective leader, or you want to be liked. You want to be around the cool kids. You want to
Right.
hang out with the younger Marines
Right.
when we're off duty. But then also when it comes in the shop, you want to act different. It's not going to work that way.
Here's another thing. I was, 20 years old when 21 when I was an E5. Okay? Good, my God. When I look back on life right now, like, there's literally data that your frontal lobe is not developed until you're 25.
Right. Right.
There's data on that. So me leading at 2021, I mean, it worked for me because I'm a people's person.
Right.
So I would tell people beforehand, no, we cool. Just don't let me look bad. That was my motto. We're cool. Don't let me look bad.
Yep.
Why do I have to say that? Because I know higher up. I knew what was going to come from my company, the first sergeant.
Yeah.
I knew what was going to come from Sergeant Major. I understood that. So it was like, okay, we cool. Just don't let me look bad.
That's all that was.
And-
That's all it needs to be.
And to be honest, when I had that mentality, because at first I was a trooper.
yeah.
Yo, let's do this. Bam, 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 bam. But I saw that wasn't working. And my new approach was, I took on a different approach because I knew people personally. Some of them were my brothers in different organizations. So it was like, okay, I had to, and let's talk.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with like being a super troop. It is not the most liked leader because not everybody is that way, so you can't force that way. Not everybody's gonna come in oorah gung ho. That's just not
Right.
going to be the case.
Right.
But they will still do their job. So you have to find the middle ground and understanding like. Like we'll do a whole bunch of different meetings and, give takes on how we think leadership is going. And it would be like, what's the point? Or you give a command survey and it's like, well, what is going to change year after year? I'm telling you the same thing.
I'm going to lean on the word frontal lobe. Frontal lobe is not developed enough. They'll
That's
come in
true.
and listen. At 21, you're listening to 17, 18-year-olds telling you what, and you're still trying to figure out your life.
That's absolutely true, but
No,
I'm not
but-
even talking about young sergeants. That's and that's a part of. I think that's a part of the reason they stopped giving you sergeant in 3 years because you were so young. You are still in the mindset of these are my homies, these are my friends, but also there's a battle of fighting to be this gung-ho hard ass, or I'm trying to still be nice to these people that I came up with or I went to boot camp with, and I just happened to get promoted ahead. You can still be cool, you know what I'm saying, and have a professional relationship. I've seen it be done. Right. I think people get the waters get muddy when it's trying to figure out, I want to be liked or I want to be a good leader.
Like I said earlier, we cool. Just know that, look out for them. You don't mess me up, I ain't got to come for you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. And I guess it's because, like you'll find yourself, some guys in my position, you had brothers who were, you probably came in because you were in a fraternity together in college or you carried the same fraternity. So you have that bond there. Or you may be a Mason, or a woman may be something else, an outside organization that you could connect with and still, okay, I want to watch my brother's back. So there's those elements to it as well.
Yeah.
So that whole issue of what they call toxic today, God, that's why I hate that word, because it's just so dismissive to all the issues that's piled on in the back end.
Right.
Like we just covered a bunch of them, and we didn't even scratch the surface.
Not even.
Okay? There are multitudes of reasons why things go in the way it does. But a strong part of the problem is leadership.
It is.
Biggest
absolutely part. That it is. If we can fix, obviously, everybody that goes in the military, and then everybody that goes in the military is not going to be the best person to be promoted to staff. I had a leader that comes to mind, and he didn't care about being friends with us. You know what I mean? It was just like, if you do your job that you have to do, and you pass what you have to pass, we have no issue. I have no issue promoting you or trying to get you whatever medals and awards that you have. Just do the job that you're supposed to do and don't get in trouble, right?
Right.
But like I said, because the military is its own weird environment, and you go on deployments together, people mix different relationships, and we don't know how to separate them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You have to be fragmented in the military.
Yeah.
But in particular, you have
those
to know
hard boundaries of you could be a really liked staff, but also understand that there's boundaries that the junior will not cross.
And sometimes junior will cross.
But that's when you put them in their place. That's what you have to let them know.
Right.
And people see that as, somebody will run with that as
toxic.
Oh yeah, they're toxic or they're mean or blah blah blah. Yeah. That's one thing, but I'd rather have that than to have someone who plays nice here and plays nice there, and then flip the switch as soon as something happens where you need them to stand in your corner. Right. Because that happens a lot, and that's what makes it hurt the most, right?
There are two types of coaches, real quick. There's a coach who says, I got the plan, follow this, don't vary. There's a coach who sit back and watch your strengths, your weaknesses, and tell you how to go do this. Yep. That's the coach I always want to be.
Yep. That's a good leader.
I always want to be that coach. Watch your strengths, watch your weaknesses, and say, hey, put more emphasis on this. This is your strength. Work on that. That's your weakness.
That's what makes a good leader. But they don't do that. They don't do that in the military.
Because they don't understand this.
Most of the time, they don't even be wanting to come to work. So
there you go.
Hey, how are they going to see who's strong and who's weak? They're never there. Ow! All right. Well, that's it. That's the topic I thought was very interesting that he brought up.
That's very interesting one.
And I thought it was a good start. And I think that going forward, obviously, our generation, the military will not change overnight or even in the next 10 years. But for the new leaders and the new sergeants and the new staff we know what it's like, but then you gotta be the difference that you're complaining about, that you don't like to see. If you plan on staying in the military for X amount of years, be the change. It's not going to be easy. If you could just change for your shop or your little environment, trust me, the Marines or the soldiers, whoever, will appreciate it going forward. And they might think, I can stay in and be just like you. And that's how the change continues, right?
Our goal is to have a strong, effective military, period. That should be the mission of our leaders.
Not strong and
Other than that, you're just strong and making noise.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, all right.
Moving right along.
Let's roll into formation.
Fall in.
All right, so this week we're going to talk about 0% VA disability service connection and what that means. Because I know a lot of people hear it, I got zero, whatever. I'm going to explain to you. So a 0% disability rating is non-compensatable disability, which means you're not getting paid. However, you will still qualify for other VA benefits such as healthcare, travel reimbursement, and VA life insurance. Travel reimbursement is when you go to an appointment at the VA or community care, you can apply for the gas mileage to be paid back to you. All right. So what?
And it's not hard to apply.
Yep.
Some people go home and do it online.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yep.
Get reimbursed for the mileage.
All right. So what most people don't know about the 0% disability, service connection disability is you can file for an increase for several reasons. If you think your disability is more severe than 0%, or your disability has become worse over time, right? So you only get headaches, and then you start noticing that your headaches are increasing over time, but they gave you a 0% anyways. You can reapply to be reevaluated, tell your doctor, hey, I've been having them more frequently than before, and then it'll go back to the same process. Maybe they'll increase it to 10%, and you go on from there. So that's pretty much the process. So it's not a loss. You simply just need to get reevaluated for the issue, and you can keep getting reevaluated for any 0% disability as you wish.
There you go.
All right. So once again, 0% disability does not mean that you cannot reapply. You can just get reevaluated, refile, and you can possibly still get an increase.
What she said.
All right. So today's hot topic is
it's sizzling. Better not be anything about the Army.
no.
Okay, good.
Veteran charged with assaulting Border Patrol agent.
Oh, yeah.
So the man accused of throwing a sandwich at an immigration officer during President Donald Trump's federal takeover of D.C. is an Air Force veteran.
Oh.
Veteran Dunn has been arrested and is being charged with a felony
You're right, I heard this.
for allegedly approaching one of the CPB officers, pointing his finger in the officer's face and shout, F you, you effing fascist. Why are you here? I don't want you in my city. And throw a wrapped sandwich at him.
There's two sides to that story. There's a side that this guy was so angry, he's like really pissed off. Mm-hmm. And you got to know he was really, really upset.
Of course.
And you have to take into consideration that this man got up, put on his clothes, went to a sandwich shop, bought a sandwich, had them wrapped it to go, ran into these officers in the street, and probably through his mind, he said, you might be hungry. Take this! It could have been that. You know the anger to throw away food
I know.
that you just purchased
Really.
to say, get out of your city?
In this economy.
In this economy, we must take this into consideration. This guy, he had it. See, this is why I'm not a lawyer.
Well, he needs a good one because they're charging him with a felony.
With a felony.
And he's a DOD worker that he is now fired from, according to Attorney General Brian Bondi. So, yeah, hopefully they could get a good lawyer and fight this, because a felony, like, I get the whole throwing it, assaulting, whatever, but still.
When I saw they charging this guy with a felony, and then they just promoted a guy from Chan 6 into the cabinet.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, come on. You guys are making a mockery of the law. It is a total mockery.
Yeah, that's the whole
and you
point.
know who you know who's the prosecutor down there in D.C. right now?
Oh, yeah.
Fox News witch.
She's not even is she even a lawyer?
I don't even know. I know she got a broom.
Bro.
She don't have an SUV. She flies around on her broom.
It's the same lady that she doesn't
Janine.
care about what they did. You can't she's mad that you can't prosecute 13 and 12-year-olds. Okay, girl. There's a reason for that, but hey, I don't want to explain that to her, I guess.
Really, you really want to. Okay. Keep, you keep dangling your hand in the lion's den. Here, lion. Oh, lion's not gonna get all in there. You see, stop playing games, because right now you're going after 12 and 13-year-olds
Or people just sitting on their porch.
And then what's going to happen? You find a need to prosecute 12 and 13-year-olds. And then they're going to find someone who walks into court with all the evidence that shows your mind is not fully developed until you're how old?
They already know this stuff.
Exactly. But until you find someone who makes it the case, okay, y'all gonna be emptying some prisons. Keep playing. Keep playing.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Not under this administration.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll see. It's a whole thing.
Anyway.
All right, well, that's all we have for today.
Oh, we're out of here.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And head over to Fanbase and show us some love.
Hit that heart.
Don't forget to like.
Don't forget to like. Like.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Here we go! Here we go! Here we go! Here we go! Here we go!